Hey guys, Taki here. With a decent stream of updates and quality of life patches in the pipeline, there's never been a better time to get back into RuneScape 3. Today we're going to cover a topic for current and returning players, setting goals in RuneScape. I'm going to be breaking down goals into three categories: skilling, achievements, and PVM. There's going to be a little bit of overlap between these categories, but my choices should hopefully make sense. As always, you can find timestamps in the description box below. First, let's talk about the bread and butter of the game, skilling. If skilling is your favorite thing, then you've got plenty of ways to go about it. From max capes to milestone capes, I'm going to go over some of the things that you could focus on while you train your skills. First up, we have one of my favorite goalposts for new players, milestone capes. Milestone capes were created as a way to fill out the gap between maxing, and it's the most accessible piece of content if you're interested in skilling. Each sequential cape is unlocked when you have a base of 10 in all stats. As you can see, the design and color of these capes improves as you get closer to 90 in all stats. These are a nice short-term goal to go after if you want a well-rounded account. Most people undoubtedly have at least 199 by now, but if you don't, the various capes that you can unlock can be a nice short-term goal to go after. Feel free to get creative with your first 99. Many people try to go after interesting capes for their first 99 so they can keepsake the untrimmed cape to show off as they level up their account. I personally used a keepsake key on an untrimmed magic cape for my ult, but things like HP, Slayer, and Invention also look nice as untrimmed keepsakes. Expert capes of accomplishment are my favorite capes design-wise, and they serve as a nice goalpost on your way to maxing an account. If you've got a few 99s under your belt, it might be worth it to go after the other 99s that you need to unlock a cape. There are 4 capes to choose from. On screen you can see the Artisan, Combatant, Gatherer, and Support capes. With several expert capes under your belt, you'll be at the point where you can start setting your sights on maxing. Maxing is certainly not as difficult as it used to be in the past, but it does carry a lot of quality of life benefits. I tend to caution people from rushing to max as fast as possible because they often get burnt out when they finish this goal. When I first maxed back in 2011, I have to say that I brute forced many of my skills toward the end because I really wanted the cape. Back then, a majority of the community was consumed with no XP waste nonsense and other micromanaging of their accounts. Now I always advise people to take it slow and do what brings them enjoyment. If you've got your eyes set on things after max, master capes are a very nice cosmetic item to go after. I personally have 2 capes at the moment, with the goal of unlocking more as time goes on. If you really enjoy a skill on your way to 99, consider making a 120 in that skill a long-term goal. Many of the 120 capes are easy to get if you AFK, and some of these capes are still considered highly prestigious, so I'm placing this category above maxing because of the time and cost associated with some of the capes. The last thing that I want to mention on this note is the fact that you could go after max experience if you want, although this is definitely not as big of an accomplishment as it once was. As it currently stands at the time of making this video, there are 356 people with 5.4 billion experience in the game, which is truly ridiculous when you think about how long it took for the first person to achieve max experience. If that doesn't interest you, you could always go after skilling pets, which are a very nice cosmetic to go after to flaunt your experience or lack thereof in a given skill. Next, let's talk about achievements. If you truly enjoy a long grind and unlocking almost everything in the game, you have a few options to go for. The Completionist and Trim Completionist capes are geared towards those that have already maxed but want to continue to pursue higher goals. These both take a considerable amount of time investment, so you have to judge if it's worth it for you personally. Aside from this, you have the very nice Master Quest cape and Regular Quest cape for all of you lore hounds out there. There are a variety of mini-games inside RuneScape that you could go after if you enjoy achievements. 2 of my personal favorites are Player-Owned Ports or Dominion Tower, which you can do to unlock some PVM related gear. There are also a variety of achievements tied to specific zones in the game that can take some effort to completely finish. In no particular order, we have New Varrock, Prifdinnas, the Ark, and Menaphos. The old achievement diary system has gone through a few changes, but I still consider it a fairly accessible piece of content. There are currently 12 item sets inside the task system that you can work toward, which all provide a variety of individual benefits that improve skilling and combat. My advice is to start working towards some of the lower level regions like Lumbridge and Falador to get your feet wet with the content. My favorite regions for benefits are Daemonheim, Ardoin, and Sears Village. If you really want to get sucked into a piece of content, collection logs will give you hundreds of hours worth of things to do. There are two main collection log systems in Runescape to suit your needs. There are the treasure trail logs that were introduced recently to track your unique items from all of the tiers of treasure trails. Completing this log will definitely take a great deal of dedication on your part, and the same could be said for bossing logs, which track all of the unique boss drops from each boss in the game, including their pet drops. The final achievement that I want to talk about are the various titles that you can unlock through gameplay in Runescape. Some of these titles are easier to get than others, but there are a great deal that require a ton of dedication to unlock and flaunt. These are a great cosmetic achievement to go after. Finally, let's talk about PvM. With skilling being easier than ever in RuneScape 3, I believe PvM is one of the biggest selling points for the game once you have the levels required to take part in the content. Let's break down some things that you could go after if you're interested in PvM. First, let's talk about Slayer. Slayer is one of the newest 120 skills in RuneScape, having been expanded with the release of Menopause. If you are interested in training Slayer, I've outlined some quests that you can start completing to unlock access to a variety of Slayer monsters. You can find a link to this Google document in the description box below. There are also a variety of quests that unlock additional abilities, upgrades, and utilities in the game. I've compiled a preliminary list of some of the most important quests that you should complete to unlock access to things that will improve your PvM abilities. You can also find access to this document in the description box below. And finally, on this note, I've outlined some of the miscellaneous upgrades and unlocks available outside of quest rewards, which can also be found in the description box below. As I've already mentioned in a previous section, boss collection logs are a massive piece of content to go for if you enjoy PvM. These logs are a nice status symbol to showcase your effort and dedication towards killing a variety of bosses in RuneScape. My favorite element of these logs and bossing in general are the nice boss pets that you can receive as drops. Just like their skilling pet counterparts, these pets showcase your current KC on a given boss. If you are really into competitive PvM, the speed killing community is the thing for you. There are numerous videos on YouTube and posts on social media showcasing the amazing speed at which people are able to kill bosses in RuneScape. You can find a link to a Google document listing speed killed records, as well as ways to submit your own kill times for bosses in RuneScape in the description box below. And the last thing that I want to talk about are the various feats that you can complete for bosses in RuneScape. Feats are a list of things you can complete from killing a boss. These typically range from simple things like killing a boss a certain amount of times to specific requirements like killing a Raxi with bronze weapons and armor. These are an interesting thing to go after if you're already pursuing bossing for another goal that I've already discussed. And on that note, I'd love to know what your goals are in RuneScape. Leave a comment below listing what you are currently pursuing in the game. If you liked this video, or if it helped you in any way, consider liking and subscribing to this channel. That's all for this one. Until next time, Taki out.